What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. I'm going to tell you one reason why I love the fact that Nikola Jokic is absolutely dominating the league over the years and, won his championship and continues to show how completely unstoppable he is. The best player in the NBA by my metrics. Similarly, I am happy to see Luka Doncic dominating in a similar fashion, albeit without a championship, but showing to be an unstoppable force in today's NBA. Both top 3, top 5 players, depending on who you ask, but most people would definitely say Joker is the best player in the NBA, and most will have Luka in their top 3 and some in their top 5. These guys encapsulate the kind of players that I have fought for over years, where people for so long have wrote them off as being poor or ineffective compared to others. These same idiots that will sit here and say they are done with the 90s are the same people that would profile players that have similar physical and skilled attributes of Joker and Luka and say that they would be garbage in the current NBA because of reasons. Not as fast, not as strong, can't dribble as fancy without acknowledging rule changes and errors, can't jump as high, they look like slugs, etc., etc., etc. I've heard it all. Players that were formidable, like the Vlade Divacs, the Arvydas Sabonises, the Magic Johnsons, the Dikembe Mutombos, the Kareems, the Bill Waltons, the Wests, the Kuzis, the McHales, and probably no one bigger than, you know what I'm about to say. Nobody gets this bad rap as bad as Larry Joe Bird. Hell, some people were saying that when Bird came into the NBA, ain't no way I'm gonna let this unathletic white boy come in here and beat us. Get this guy on the court and Larry whoop their ass. And it didn't take them long to quickly find out how wrong they were about Larry Bird. If you didn't know, you better ask somebody. But nowadays, these kids today, these casuals without understanding NBA basketball prior to 2013 might, and I do say might, because many will do no research, but they might watch a few Bird highlights and scoff at the idea that he would be effective in today's NBA. And all the things they say about Bird can be said about Luka and Joker to some degree. And here they are making players look like complete fools day in and day out, being Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. Completely making people look like idiots. Embarrassing players on the court with their pure skills and fundamentals, without all the visible muscle, without all the high-flying theatrics, rim-rocking, show-stopping dunks, without the LeBron James athleticism and the full-court spring and sprinting. These two guys have more in common with the player profile of Bird than they do of most of the players they are trying to say seem to be much more visibly superior, as in players like Ant Edwards, Shea, Damian Lillard, or the dribbling skills and shooting of Stephen Curry, or a player like Anthony Davis, etc., etc., etc. With that being said, in defense of Larry Bird, which Larry Bird should need no defense, he is probably, arguably, if not arguably, probably the most complete player in NBA history. The guy really has no identifiable flaws and weaknesses. But anyway, with that being said, in defense of Bird, Bird is deceptively quick, or was deceptively quick off his feet in the half court, and even full court deceptively fast. You can go and watch Larry Bird fast break highlights and show me how often he's getting outran down the court by other players. I have seen him on pace or out sprinting those players that are more athletically gifted than him, with or without the ball in his hand. Bird was grabbing 10 rebounds a game on his career, and back then you did have extremely strong, bulky, physical guys, physical play in the paint. Dominique Wilkins, for example, is a player that is athletically more freakish than almost anybody in the NBA today. And Dominique Wilkins had no answer for Larry Bird. Nick will tell you that himself, and he has said that on plenty of occasions. Or you can just go watch the footage of how often Larry Bird smoked the Atlanta Hawks. Bird will quickly show you why he's an NBA legend that transcends time and eras. And he would be the third player, not in terms of actually number 3 in ranking, but the third player in that discussion for top 3 players in the league today, had you put him in today's NBA. It's funny, between Joker, Luka, and Larry Bird, you know, if Larry Bird was in the current NBA, funny how all 3 would be the not athletic white boys in the current NBA, though of American descent, not European, but you get what I mean with Larry Bird. Basketball is more mental and skills than it is physical gifts at the end of the day, in my opinion. If you have the skills and the mental fortitude, you can overcome anything and you can still do anything. You can have all the physical attributes in the world, but if you have no skills, if you don't have those other things I mentioned, what good are you? See, Shaq was not just all brawn and body. Shaq was skilled and mentally tough. Don't let people tell you differently about Shaq just because he was a bad free throw shooter. Shaq was a skilled basketball player. The same with Wilt Chamberlain. How was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar so unstoppable? Skills? He had the length. He wasn't crazy athletic. That was skills. How was skinny Kevin McHale cooking people on the block day in and day out? Skills. Mental fortitude. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't soft. He wasn't the strong, bulking body, etc., like some of the other players were. But like Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and some of those other guys would be in there jostling for a position, getting physical in the paint. Though they seemed to be physically outmatched, they were still getting in, getting dirty, and succeeding because of skills. Allowed them to get in the positions to succeed. How the hell was Dennis Johnson so effective? A multi-time champion, and even a champion and MVP on the Sonics before he even got to the Celtics. He didn't have the athleticism of people like Russell Westbrook or John Morant at that position. Come on. Thank you, Joker, and thank you, Luka Doncic, because people were looking at me, and they still look at me to this day like I'm crazy when I try to relay knowledge on these fools about how effective and how dominant these older players would be from the 60s, 70s, 80s in today's NBA. So thank you, Luka and Joker, for providing examples of what those players may look like to some degree. Y'all let me know what you think about it. Shout out to the Bird Gang. Shout out to all the lovers of old school basketball. Check out all of our playlists, and I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.